Hi everyone, so this is the third video for alkene practice problems. In this video, we're going to be going through hydration and hydroalkoxylation practice problems. All right, so I'll skip the mechanism for most of these except for where we have rearrangements. Otherwise, I'll just kind of show or talk through what product we would get. All right, so here we have a double bond and we have H2O in the presence of an acid. And so we know we're going to be adding OH and H across the double bond. And our carbocation is going to go to the more stable position. And so our intermediate would be this, where we have that carbocation in that resonance stabilized tertiary position. And so I'll kind of draw brackets around this to show that this is an intermediate. And so then for our final product, we end up with the OH going to the position of that carbocation right there. In this next one, we have, similar to that first one, we also have water in the presence of an acid and an alkene. So this is going to be a hydration reaction. And so what we're going to get is for our intermediate, we actually get two potential carbocations. We get this one or this one. And so since we get two, they're both secondary, they're both reasonable intermediates to get from that first step, we actually have to proceed for this reaction with both of these in mind. And so for this first one, what we can see is that we can actually get a rearrangement from a methyl group shifting over to form the more stable tertiary one in this position here. And I'll redraw it here. And so for this one, these are going to be our two carbocation intermediates that we can get. And so for our final products, we want to add on OH to both of those positions. And so our final products will be this. Plus this. All right, for this next one, similar to before, we have the alkene, we have an acid, and then instead of a water, we have an alcohol. And so in this one, we'd be adding that we'd be adding that R group to the site of that carbocation. And so here we can get this tertiary carbocation once we add on the hydrogen. Some classes prefer you to draw both, so they would label this as the minor, or sorry, this would be the major, and then this other one would be the minor at the secondary position. Kind of depends on the class. Some classes want you to draw both, some don't. But I'll draw both here just in case. But it's very possible that your class might not actually have you draw that secondary one. All right, and so once we get those, what we're going to do is add on the R groups, so here we have an ethanol to those two positions. And similar to before, I'm going to label this top one as major. This one is minor. Then there's some other minor products that you could also get from rearrangements from that second one, but we'll skip those for now. Those are going to be fairly minor products. All right, let's do this one. So here we have alkene, alcohol, acid. So we have all of our components for our hydroxyalkoxylation. And so here we can draw our first carbocation intermediate, which will be tertiary. And we should never draw that primary one on that other carbon. You're not going to get that because it's a primary carbocation. And so here we're just going to end up adding that alcohol to that position. So I'll draw this. And so this will be our product here. And for this, make sure you don't accidentally drop a carbon. It's pretty easy to accidentally draw the wrong number of carbons once you add on that group. All right, here, same thing, alkene, water, source of acid. So first we can draw in our potential carbocations that we could get. And so we could get one at the secondary position or this primary position here, or tertiary position on the right. And similar to before, you could, some classes might ask you to draw in the minor product here where you have the secondary position right here. Potentially, again, not all classes, so just double check with your instructor what they want you to do. And then here, since we have a water, we're going to add in an OH to those two positions. All right, so that wraps up that one. This one's a little bit trickier. There's kind of a lot of bigger reagents here, but same thing. We still have our starting alkene, we have our acid, and then we have our alcohol. And so our first step is going to be to identify the carbocations that we get. And so here we have the secondary position. We should not draw in the other one on that terminal carbon where would be primary. And here, a common mistake that I see people make with this question is accidentally doing a rearrangement where there actually can't be one. So remember that generally rearrangements are limited to just one carbon over. And here what we can see is that we actually have two carbons before we get to that resonance stabilized position next to the ring. And so here we're not going to get a rearrangement. Even though it kind of looks like maybe we could get a stabilized one, but in this case, we're too far away from that ring. We have to be only one carbon away. And so when we add in our final alcohol, we get this, and we end up adding this ring to that position over there. And I think I actually dropped the carbon. So we'll get that product. All right, so that wraps up this video.